Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today, we will be covering OpenAI's confidential IPO filing and its, quote, third phase AGI plan, Apple's long-awaited Siri AI overhaul powered partly by Gemini, Google's massive compute deal with SpaceX, and Notion briefly cutting off Anthropic after a model outage. Let's start with the biggest corporate news of the day. OpenAI announced on June 8th that it has submitted a confidential S-1 to the SEC, formally kicking off preparations for an IPO. The understated line from OpenAI itself sets the tone perfectly. We expect it to leak, so we're just announcing it. That dry confidence aside, this is a major shift. Going public would force OpenAI to open the books on data center obligations, enterprise revenue, safety risks, and the mountain of litigation it's juggling. It also puts OpenAI on a parallel track with Anthropic, which recently made its own confidential filing, giving investors their first real way to directly compare the two leading labs. TechCrunch pegged OpenAI's last post-money valuation at around $852 billion. Alongside the filing, Sam Altman and Jakub Pachoki published what they're calling the third phase plan. The vision is to build an automated AI researcher, accelerate the broader economy, and eventually give, in their words, everyone on Earth a personal AGI. The most striking timeline they put forward, by March 2028, OpenAI believes a significant fraction of its own research could be done by AI systems working alongside human researchers. So, OpenAI is essentially telling public market investors that within 2 years, it expects its own scientists to be partially replaced by its own models. That's a bold pitch and a bold risk factor. Next up, Apple finally delivered on its long-delayed Siri promise at WWDC. The new product is called Siri AI, and it's Apple's attempt to turn Siri from a basic voice command tool into a genuine ChatGPT-style assistant. There's now a dedicated Siri app with archived conversations, text input, document and image uploads, and a proper voice mode. It can pull current world knowledge, respond based on what's on your screen, and tap into personal context like your emails, calendar, contacts, and messages across iPhone, Mac, Apple Watch, and Spotlight. Here's the twist that got the most attention. Google Gemini is under the hood. TechCrunch reported Apple collaborated with Google on the next generation of Apple Foundation models, with Gemini powering key parts of the Siri update. That's a remarkable admission from a company that usually prefers to build its own stack. Craig Federighi tried to keep the focus on Apple's differentiator with the line, "We believe privacy is non-negotiable," and Apple pointedly contrasted its approach with rivals that dump privacy management onto users. Developers get access immediately with a consumer beta later this year, though Siri AI won't launch initially in the EU or China while Apple works through regulatory issues. After 2 years of broken promises on Siri, this is Apple's credibility reset, and it's leaning on its biggest search rival to pull it off. Now to an infrastructure story that says a lot about the current state of AI compute. According to an SEC filing, SpaceX signed a cloud services agreement with Google on June 5th. Google will pay SpaceX $920 million per month from October 2026 through June 2029 for access to about 110,000 NVIDIA GPUs, plus CPUs and memory. There's also ramp-up capacity over the summer at a reduced fee. Think about what this means. Google owns some of the deepest AI infrastructure on the planet, and it's still writing 9-figure monthly checks to Elon Musk's SpaceX for bridge capacity. Google's own framing was pragmatic. It called this a short-term, timely agreement to ensure we have bridge capacity, specifically pointing to unexpected demand for Gemini Enterprise. The filing also includes some interesting protections. Google can terminate if SpaceX fails to deliver the committed GPUs by September 30th, 2026, after a 1-month grace period, and either side can walk after December 31st, 2026, with 90 days notice. TechCrunch noted this echoes SpaceX's earlier compute arrangement with Anthropic, meaning SpaceX is quietly becoming a meaningful supplier to multiple frontier labs. When even Google is renting, the squeeze on AI compute is very real. Finally, a quick but telling reliability story. On June 7th, Notion temporarily disabled all Anthropic models inside Notion AI after a spike in failures tied to Anthropic's Opus 4.7 and 4.8 models. The outage was relatively brief, and Notion restored access later the same day, but the reaction online was immediate. Users started speculating that Claude had been quietly degraded or nerfed, when in reality it was a service disruption on Anthropic's end that Notion was routing around to protect its own users. The real story here is the dependency. Notion is one of the most widely used productivity apps in the world, and it can be knocked sideways by a few hours of instability at a single model vendor. It also shows how quickly users now interpret any hiccup as model-quality drama rather than ordinary infrastructure trouble. For enterprise buyers evaluating AI features, this is a reminder that multi-model fallback isn't just a nice-to-have, it's becoming table stakes.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.